Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and let's talk about Invisalign Day support, or Invisalign Days in general. What goes into having a successful Invisalign Day? Well, obviously, the number one thing that goes into having a successful Invisalign Day is having an iTero. If you don't have an iTero, this is going to be a train wreck, so don't bother. I would also make sure if you're buying an iTero, I wouldn't even schedule it till you know you have your iTero up, set up, systems up and operating. Your whole team has been trained up on it. You guys have your speed up, because it can take a lot longer than you expect to get everything up and running. Like, they promise you it's going to come on a certain date and it often doesn't, and you still haven't had your training scheduled and your team isn't trained up. So just wait till you get it and you're actually ready to go. So first thing I usually suggest when you get an iTero is that you just take some time to play around with it, scam a lot of family and friends, children of the team, things like that. Take an afternoon and scan one another and get your systems up and running, right? Once you've got all that going, then you can talk about doing Invisalign days. I would definitely talk to your territory manager about what that looks like. Way back when, they definitely offered support with Invisalign days. Now, I think it really depends on their availability. Some do, some don't. I hear it all over the place. So, it's a good question to ask. Will you offer support? And, you got to keep in mind that these are people too. So, they may not be there the whole day. They certainly probably won't be there on a weekend. So it really probably depends on when you're doing it. What is an Invisalign day? Well, that's really up to you. And it really depends on how you are marketing it. It's a great marketing venture. If you recently just got your iTero, and you haven't been scanning, like I recommend every single patient in your practice, existing patient in your practice. Don't ask patients if they want an Invisalign consult. Hey, would you want an ortho consult? No, you don't do that. You scan every single patient in your practice, new, recall, from age 6 or 7 on up, as long as they have teeth. Now, obviously, if they're missing half their teeth and they're all flapping in the wind, then that's a no, okay? They gotta have pretty healthy teeth. They gotta have most of their teeth. Just start scanning them, every single patient. And you do it every year or so. It doesn't have to be every 6 months, but every year. It's just great care. It's great just record keeping. It doesn't have anything to do necessarily with ortho. It's just great care to be able to check, to be able to measure things, to be able to study the occlusion. So you just let the patients know, hey, 40 years ago, we didn't even use gloves in an office. Now we use gloves. 30 years ago, we didn't even do perioprobing. Now we do perioprobing. 25 years ago, we didn't even do oral cancer screening. Now we do oral cancer screening. And this is just another value add for our practice. We do occlusion screening, or you can call it whatever you want. And it's just part of our exam that we do a 3D digital scan of your bite so that we can study it, we can see if there's any concerns, we can make recommendations. And the recommendations may have nothing to do with ortho. They may have to do with implants or other things, sleep, airway, who knows. So that's the why behind the iTero, and that's the why behind the scan every patient. The whole point of the Invisalign Day, I think, is to capture buzz from new patients. So if you're going to do Invisalign Day, you need to work with your marketing team to really find the right day. It's probably going to take you months to prepare for this day, to really, really get the ads going. Obviously, I love the idea of doing virtual consults before you even schedule them for a scan that day. I love the idea of capturing, either through photos or through a virtual Zoom session at home, capturing that data and finding good potential patients for that Invisalign Day to come on in. Obviously, usually on an Invisalign Day, you're going to have some type of crazy promo. So if you've already been scanning all the patients in your office, you can say anyone that starts on the Invisalign Day, even if you already had a scan, if you'd like to give us a call and start on that day, we are offering, $2,000 off, $1,500 off our regular price or whatever. It's a little tricky because you got to keep in mind, if the patients have insurance, you can't offer these kind of promos. So, what else can you do? It doesn't have to necessarily be about money. It can be fun. There can be raffles. There can be giveaways. There can be prizes, things that everyone can involve in. But a lot of people just do Invisalign days with a promo, for cash patients. So you can market to that, and just getting people in the community to stop on in. Hey, let me get that scan. It's free. I'm going to get information. So let's talk a little bit about procedures, operations. I mean, here's the thing. You don't have to give them an answer that day. I mean, I like the idea of having just a flat price for Invisalign, and then you don't even have to worry about, making sure you're pricing it properly. Just, a nice, reasonable, flat price. If your doctor sees something and they're taking a look, and obviously, hopefully you're taking x-rays of the Invisalign day 2 and you're seeing funky things, then you can always table that one. You can always say, you know what, we're going to get back to you. We got to put a little more effort into this one. We're going to study it. We're going to take some time. We may have to get a cephalometric x-ray. There's some things that we need to do. So we'll still honor that price if we're able to take this case. We'll let you know. You got to give us a few more days. And there's nothing wrong with the scripting on that. You can just say that. And this is where you can bring in an orthodontist, like myself or like many orthodontists in the community that are out there around the United States that are available to provide virtual or in-person support for Invisalign Day. It doesn't mean that they're treatment planning the patient. They're just there if you have questions, just because it's really great to have an orthodontist to bounce questions off. What would happen if I did this on this patient, or can you give me some advice, about taking this patient? What are the risk, benefits, and alternatives, especially if you do not know? Because remember, even if you think you're doing all go cases for Invisalign Day, which I think is a huge mistake, and don't even get me started on that, liability. Even if you think about doing that, if you cannot explain the risk, benefits, and alternatives of treatment, this is it, alternatives. Even if you're not offering it, there are alternatives. Unless you can explain what they are, where to get them, and what the benefits are and the risks are, you have no business even providing that GO treatment. That is below standard of care. You can ask your liability insurance company and they will completely back me up on what I'm saying. This is not what Invisalign is teaching you, and this is why it's a huge mistake, okay? And you know what? You're the doctor. You know your own dental practice act. It is not their job to know your dental practice act. It's your job. And I just sat in on another dental practice act seminar at CDA last weekend. And again, I know that I'm teaching my doctors the right thing, but Invisalign is not teaching doctors the right thing. And Galler is not teaching doctors the right thing. And Moelis is not teaching doctors the right thing. And, ultimately, you guys should know what's right and wrong. So just kind of wanted to let you know that Invisalign Day support is available to doctors who want it. We offer it with Straightsmile Solutions, and there's plenty of other orthodontists that offer it as well. So definitely, in order to get started, you'll need to sign up for our concierge plan. Definitely. And you would need to be actively in a plan on the date that is scheduled. Of course, that's subject to mutual availability. We only do maximum half day for Invisalign days, and it's only concierge and VIP. It's not a full day. Full days would definitely be extra if you wouldn't be covered as part of the plan. And it's also subject to mutual availability. It's also not on weekends. So, all right, thanks so much.